Hold on. Well, hello.
Hello.
So I couldn't help but notice when scrolling through the YouTubes that a lot of videos are coming out right now from fashion and style channels about projected 2024 fashion trends. Now, I am the last person on planet Earth to tell you guys what is currently trending or what is going to be trending, because when it comes to fashion, I wear whatever the heck I want, and if it happens to fall in line with what's currently in style, then that is purely coincidence. Or maybe I was subconsciously influenced because I do tend to scroll through TikTok and social media, but for the most part, I just wear whatever makes my inner child happy.
I'm a princess.
So today I kind of wanted to make my own take on the 2024 style forecast video and make a video about things that I am currently inspired by, things that I really want to wear in the coming year, and kind of just talk about what I'm currently pinning on Pinterest in my fashion pinspiration board. And this is a way to not only document my style evolution, but also to provide you guys some inspiration in sharing what's currently inspiring me, because I know a lot of you guys have similar tastes as well. Not everyone, but sometimes it can be really inspiring to see what other people are currently gravitating towards, whether it's exactly what you like, or maybe there might be little bits and pieces that you might find cool. So that's what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna jump right into it because there is a lot. So if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that my style tends to lean towards cottagecore, whimsical, and all that. However, you might have noticed that in the last year and a half to 2 years or so, my style has been slowly shifting away from the more light, girly, coquette aesthetic and more towards the darker whimsigoth direction. And this is both reflective in my own personal style in terms of clothing, but also my decorating style. However, I still do implement a lot of elements of the former aesthetic. And that's just how style evolution works sometimes. It's like a slow progression into another style. It's not like a hard shift, although some people will completely change their style overnight, but that's a completely different discussion. And in that, I've made a lot of videos in the last, I would say 6 months, specifically dedicated to this style shift. I've made a few styling videos as well as some hybrid haul styling videos. So a lot of these inspirations aren't gonna come as a shock to anyone who knows me at all. However, there are gonna be some new elements I'm gonna try to implement as well. Another thing a lot of people know about me is that I love fantasy, I love run fairs, I'm obsessed with Lord of the Rings and anything to do with like fairies and elves and just anything my little girl me would absolutely love. So a lot of these styles are very much inspired by fantasy. Kind of a we have fantasy at home. So they're dressed down casual versions of like Ren Fair outfits. Like if you were to implement pieces from the Ren Fair into everyday outfits. I actually did a video also about how to implement a fantasy aesthetic into an everyday casual style. So if you're interested in that video, I will also link that down below, and as well as the other videos that I mentioned. So firstly, what I'm noticing a lot in my Pinterest board is a lot of layering, and specifically layering of textures and colors like blacks, navies, as well as jewel tones, royal tones, things of that nature. Mixed textures like linens with lace and velvet, satin, pretty much all the textures, but layered into interesting combinations so that it's not just one monochrome or one plain outfit, but there's a lot of different details and elements. For instance, one recurring theme that I'm seeing is layering corsets or bustiers or corset-y looking tops over the top of other tops. So like long sleeve crew necks, button-down shirts, collared shirts. I think this can get a little bit tricky if you don't want to look too costumey, but I think what helps is if you have a really good quality piece that is obviously vintage and not fast fashion or isn't from like a costume shop, you know, like Spirit of Halloween. And then you balance it with more casual pieces like trousers or a more straight line maxi skirt. And then you can also swap out the corset for a more fitted waistcoat as well. We love a good hobbit vest on this channel. And I have been noticing a lot of like blousy button downs in my Pinterest board as well. And some of you will be like, hey, I thought you said you don't like button downs anymore. What gives? Well, to that I say, I just don't like them buttoned up to the frickin' neck. I don't mind a good blousy button down as long as it's a little bit more loose and kind of less stifling. I really like ones that are more kind of a soft fabric, like a satin or a sheer fabric. Like there's this blouse from my Pinterest board that I'm obsessed with. And I do own a few blouses kind of like this, not exactly, but it's that like sheer soft fabric, and they are among my favorite tops. And I especially love to layer with them, but also wear them on their own. And then another thing that you can swap out the corset for is the harness, which I've been really loving lately. I have my velvet wrap harness from Uchronic Time, which I was gifted a long time ago, and it's one of my favorite pieces. And I more recently figured out the best way to tie it, at least that looks best on me. I also just recently picked up this harness from, I think it's called, what is it called? Joy Folly, which I will link in the description. This actually just came in the mail today, and I'm so excited because I absolutely love the texture of it. It's like a brocade gold metallic fabric harness, and I'm kind of glad that I got it half off because I can't imagine paying full price for this because it is pretty thin and it is not very, doesn't have a lot of structure to it, but I feel like it'd be a good little detail to add to an outfit to make it a little bit more edgy and add a little bit more detail to it. But it's not leather, so it's not too edgy, if that makes sense. And they do have different versions of this same harness, so I'll link a few of those down in the description, but this was just a recent purchase that I wanted to implement in my wardrobe for this year. So yeah, I really want to start implementing harnesses every once in a while, juxtaposed with a more like formal looking blouse, because I think the contrast of tones is really cool to play with. Specifically, there's a blouse that I kind of slept on that I wish I had gotten off of Depop. It's by J.R. Knights, and it's this peacock blue satin blouse. And I thought about it, and by the time I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get it, it's sold. I'm gonna keep my eyes out for it. I have seen it on Poshmark. Not the size that I'm looking for yet. What I really love about it is that the cuffs, instead of cuffing, they kind of bell out. So it's a little bit different than your typical button-down blouse. And that's one of the things that drew me to it besides the texture and the color. I am kicking myself for not buying it when I had the chance. When it comes to corsets, obviously I have a lot of corsets already, so I'm gonna try not to buy too many more, but there are some on my list. Before I show you guys my wish list and things that I want, like specific items that I wanna find, in addition to showing you guys my inspirations, I wanna show you guys things that I have in my possession that I'm gonna try to style this year. Even if I have already styled them, I'm gonna try to continue to wear them. And I noticed that there was a Nor in the Merchant, I always struggle to say it, velvet dress that was in my Pinterest board, and I'm pretty sure it's being modeled by a clothes horse. And I actually have a piece from Nor in the Merchant. It's not a dress like this, but it is this corset that they gifted to me last year or the year before, I can't remember. And it's that beautiful velvet texture. I did kind of screw up this corset a little bit. When I did a photo shoot, I got in the water, which is probably not smart. But I'm probably gonna try to fix it up because some of the, these have frayed. The rivets have frayed a bit, and that's my bad. But I feel like this would be really pretty styled with a black button down, specifically maybe the ruffly one that I have. I'm gonna try that when I find the laces. And then quite a few of the pins that are in my Pinterest board, the corsets are over like a white blousey blouse. I have quite a few of them. Some of them are more high neck, and I think I have a few that are collared, but I also have this one as well. I did notice there was a pin. I don't think it was with the corset, maybe it was, but there were some layered gold necklaces. And then what I would actually do with this one, instead of doing an overbust or one with straps, I would find a really cute underbust corset to wear with this. I do have a few. I have yet to wear this one. I got this one off Etsy a while back. It does have some issues though. Unfortunately, the rivets came out and they frayed. And then this, I feel like this is sewed really weird. I had left a bad review on the Etsy page because I was so disappointed. And then they reached out to me and told me that if I changed my review, they would send me a new one. So I did. I changed my review to a 5-star, and then they never sent it to me. So I got bamboozled, but you know what? I'm gonna try to make some repairs to this to make it work. First of all, I spent like $100 on this, or like 90 something bucks, and it's not even lined. There's no bones. It's a no bones day. RIP noodle. So I'm probably gonna take this apart, maybe use the front panel for something and maybe put it on another corset. I'm not sure yet, but I really do wanna utilize this because I really do love the tapestry look. And I think that would be really cute with something like this. Like, hold on. I mean, that would be a look, right? And then another thing that I've been really inspired by are the like 90s slip dresses and slips, as well as like the beaded and embroidered slip dresses. There are quite a few brands that have duped them. However, I'm trying to stay away from duped vintage pieces because I have in the past caved and bought some pieces that were duped. But unfortunately, because it's fast fashion, it doesn't have the quality that of course the vintage pieces will have. And it's not something you can really hide. Like, you can tell that it is fast fashion, it is not good quality. And I much prefer the look of the vintage pieces. Those vintage pieces are harder to find, yes, but I feel like that'll make it more worth it if I do end up finding one of these dresses. Adriana Papel is one of the brands. However, I did recently find out that they are still selling a dress on their website that's pretty similar to the ones that I've been pinning and saving. So I might bite the bullet at some point and buy it. It is a lot cheaper than the ones people are selling secondhand, like the vintage ones from the 90s. So we'll see. I'm still debating on it. And the name is pretty perfect. It's, I believe, vintage beaded midi fairy dress with shark bite hem in olive. So like the fairy vibes. I'm here for it. And kind of in that realm, I've been looking a lot for not just slip dresses, but also slip tops, not just to wear underneath things, but I feel like if styled appropriately, tops like this can look appropriate and not like you're wearing underwear. Like, I recently found this top, which is a Fredericks of Hollywood. It was new with tags. It had the old tag on it. I got this at Goodwill in SoCal, and I think I got it for $5, which is not too bad for a new with tags item. I also got some lacy tops off of ThredUp. This is Astoria, which I really like that brand. And I got this in orange as well as black. These were also new with tags, which I usually look for things new with tags if I'm gonna get them off of ThredUp because they're already kind of expensive for a thrift store. But I mostly got these to layer underneath tops, but I feel like these would be really cute with like a shawl or like, you know, those crochet boleros, like the mesh crochet. I'll put up an image of what I'm talking about. I actually have one in cream, but I've been wanting to get more, but I don't want to get them from fast fashion. So I've just been waiting to, I don't know, find them in thrift stores or see if a friend can crochet me one if I, you know, buy the yarn and pay them for their time. And then of course, we have the tops that kind of look like bustiers or corsets layered with other things or worn on their own or worn with boleros. I actually forgot I even had this top. I hauled it last year and then I styled it. And since then I kind of forgot about it. I was cleaning out my closet and I saw it in there and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot I had you. And it was kind of like I was shopping my closet. I got that dopamine hit, like I just found something new. So I did remind myself that this exists and I will be wearing it, whether that's over the top of like a turtleneck or a button down or with a bolero, because I won't be wearing this by itself because I just don't feel comfortable being all shoulders, arms out. It's just a personal thing, don't judge me. Or I could also wear that over like a mesh shirt. That's another thing I've been doing a lot lately, is getting these like mesh or lace tops to wear underneath. That's another thing I'm probably gonna be doing. And of course, on my Pinterest board, there's a lot of velvet and I already own a lot of velvet, so I don't really necessarily need to buy more. This is a piece that I haven't really worn that much lately because I do have to wear a tank top underneath because it is a bit booby, but this is from Killstar. I do have a few pieces from Killstar and I like them. They're pretty good, but let me know if you guys want an actual review of them because there's a couple pieces that I was eyeing, but I'm trying to decide if it's worth it or not to, but if I make a video about it, tax write-off, baby. And then of course in 2023, I did finally get myself the Victorian hand belt. This is a repro that was made by an artist, Thistle Thistle, which I'm also wearing Thistle Thistle earrings, my sword earrings. And yes, this was pretty expensive, but it was one of those things where it's like, you know what?
3 words for you, treat yourself.
I earned it. It was a little gift to myself. And then of course, if you've seen one of my recent videos, I also recently found a true vintage sun belt. So I'm very excited to continue to wear this year. I do have to get a clasp for it because the clasp that I was using to close it that I salvaged from an old fast fashion belt, it broke because it could not handle the weight of this beauty. So I do have to get a real sturdy clasp for it before I can continue to wear it. And then of course, I also managed to acquire some Victorian boots this last year. And I'm very stoked to continue to wear these until it gets too hot too. And this very much goes with the style that I've been showing. And I believe this was in my wish list of 2023, that and the Victorian hand belt. And I also found the mushroom Talbot sweater. I crossed a lot of things off my list from last year. Now, in terms of what am I gonna be looking for? Of course, like we mentioned, we've got the slips, the sundresses, beaded things. Also, this top is very much representative of the style that I'm going for. It's like that mesh with like the embroidery or beading over the color. So even though I focus on thrifting, secondhand, and DIY, crafting, thrift flipping, and all that, there are some items that are on my wish list that I am going to be kind of thinking about getting, or maybe I'll try to thrift similar things. So first of all, as I mentioned before, I really love the Adriana Papel embroidered and beaded slip dresses. So I am going to add that dress to my wish list, the one that's currently on the website. However, I am going to try to motivate myself to find one in the wild at the thrift stores. Second, there is a Selkie dress that I really wanted. It's the Unicorn Defends Himself Romantics dress. However, first of all, it's sold out right now in my size and all sizes. Second, because Selkie has been kind of in a bit of a scandal, they utilized AI artwork in the print of their recent collection. As an artist myself, occasionally, I definitely feel the pain of a lot of artists who feel a bit burned by that, because Selkie can definitely afford to hire an artist for their prints, which in the past I believe they did. I don't know why they decided to use AI this time, but it's a bit saddening and it kind of shows a lot of greed on their part. A lot of their dresses aren't even really worth the money because the zippers are crappy, some of the materials aren't the best. I'm either A, gonna see if I can find some unicorn tapestry inspired fabric to make my own dress, because I am going to finally learn how to sew. I swear, in 2024, I'm gonna try. Do or do not, there is no try. Or perhaps I'll try to keep my eyes out for a dress that kind of reminds me of it. I do have a few contenders. First of all, there's a brand called Milianda, and they have a unicorn in captivity dress. It is a sundress, but I feel like it would be really cute layered. A lot of girls who tend to dress more on the Lolita side shop at that store, but I feel like I could make it work for my style. However, I can't forget that I do own one dress that is inspired by the unicorn tapestries, and that is by Cat Coven. This dress was sent to me last year, and it's one of my favorite dresses to wear, and I also like to wear it with my Victorian hand belt. It's a match made in heaven. However, it is more on the casual side, so I would love to have a dress that is inspired by my favorite tapestries to wear to the Ren Fair dressed up. The next dress is more similar in vibes rather than print, and it's the Isabella dress from Linen Naive. What I really love about Linen Naive is the stuff is 100% linen and good quality. They are a bit pricey, but it is cheaper than Selkie, so technically I'm saving money, girl math. And I just really love the teal color, and it kind of gives me similar vibes to that. I could both wear it casually, and I can also dress it up for Ren Fairs, which is, you know, always a plus. And of course, Linen Naive has beautiful dresses, and there's quite a few on my wish list. I also absolutely adore the shop Office 7 on Etsy. They have the most beautiful gowns and corsets, and it's a dream of mine to be able to own one. I specifically love this one, as well as this one. I absolutely love the painting motifs on the front of them, and I actually own prints of both paintings, so why not wear your favorite artwork? I think when looking at all of my inspirations as well as my wish list, there is a theme that is coming through. Yes, a lot of it is whimsigoth, however, there is more of a fantasy vibe coming through as well. It's not strictly whimsigoth. It's kind of my own take. An amalgamation of all of my favorite aesthetics as well as my favorite fandoms. Especially when you mix in the celestial elements, it's less like, oh, I'm a celestial girly, and more like I am a wizard who is going to give you a quest. Specifically the blue and purple velvets with the stars and the metallics. And if you are ready to jump into the comments to let me know that that's the vibe you got, especially when I bring this cloak into the conversation, which I've been eyeing for a really long time, is from Chic Wish. And yes, it is very much giving off 900-year-old kooky wizard. Are we surprised? Lest we forget Queen Mother, whom I previously tried to emulate in past video. So yeah, that is the vibe that I'm going for. A wizard, fairy, fantasy, fairy tale character that is going to give you a quest. I am not the main character here. I'm trying to be the ancient inspirational side character who motivates the protagonist to go on their journey. That is who I am to you guys. I'm trying to inspire you guys to go on your journey. But that's enough about me. Be sure to leave a comment below about the things that are currently inspiring you. What styles are you gravitating towards? What are you currently pinning on your Pinterest boards? What are you saving to your camera roll? What are you on the lookout for at the thrift stores? Let me know, and thank you guys so much for watching. I have another video coming up really soon talking about how our style changes over the years and why that is okay. And I'm really excited to make a crap ton of content this year. I have a huge freaking list of videos that I'm gonna be filming in the coming weeks, so buckle up, Buttercup, it's gonna be epic. And make sure you're subscribed, make sure you like the video, make sure you leave a comment to please the algorithm gods, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.